Hello everybody, and as promised, this is part 4 of the video in terms of talking about my feelings, what I went through with this first relationship of abuse from a woman, what it made me feel like, why I particularly snapped that night and fought back. Like I said before, I don't know how many people feel like this. I don't know how many men go through this. I don't know how many women go through this. I am only speaking about my experience and my feelings about these types of topics, right? Because like I said before, this was my first real brush with abuse, like a very strong type of abuse where she laid her hands on me. You know what I mean? Now, when the first time the abuse happened, right, the verbal side of the abuse, when it happened, I basically was like, it's not really a big deal because I don't listen half the time. And I mean, like, even when she was abusing me, my ears were like kind of shut off and I was just ignoring her. So most times when she was talking, like, what I could hear in my head was wah 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 wah. You know that Charlie Brown teacher thing? Wah 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 wah. So most times when she was like verbally abusing me and, you know, sending on a barrage of insults and disrespect to my manhood, and that's one thing I need to talk about. Like, sometimes, men, we need to stand up for our manhood. We can't sit down and allow a woman to disrespect our manhood and just like go on continuing to think that it is okay for her to behave in such a disgusting manner. First thing I did when she spoke to me like in a certain way, I checked her. I said, listen, and I know it was like kind of the wrong time. Probably I should have checked her from earlier, but when it got to the point where she was threatening me and disrespecting my manhood, I basically stopped her in the tracks and said, listen, you're not going to stay in my car and speak to me like that. You understand what I'm saying? And if more men would basically let their women know that, listen, you're not allowed to talk to me like that. You understand? A lot more women would understand that basically they're going to have to date the simps and the cocks. You know what I mean? Because I generally, really and truly, I wasn't going to stand there and take that shit. I don't know why men like to sit there and take it. Even, I mean, I realize that the media, movies, and whatever it is has conditioned the men to take it. And even my mother tried to, like, teach me to take stuff like that. But my aunt, thankfully, my aunt said, listen, women like real men, you have to act this way. My aunt was really helpful in developing a strong side, a strong masculine side of my manhood. Whereas my mother was more on the softer side. And then even my father taught me a couple of stuff. You understand? But anyway, now let's get into how I felt while I was basically, you know, being verbally and physically abused. Let's talk about the physical abuse part first. When I was being physically abused, especially the second time she kind of hit me, it made me feel extremely non-human. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm talking about, but when she put her hands on me, I didn't feel like I was a person. I didn't feel like I was a person of value. And I guess that people who are abused, maybe that's how they actually feel as well. Which is why some people stay with their abusers. Because these people make them feel that they are less than what they actually are, which is a human being. They make them feel low. So when they feel low, they just feel like they're not worth anything other than to be punched and kicked and boxed, and that's how I felt as a man. I didn't feel like a person. I felt like I was some kind of Not even an animal, because animals get better treatment than how I was treated by that person. And I said to myself that I just did not feel like a person. I felt like I wasn't worth anything. And even after the relationship ended, I made sure I took time off from dating people to reevaluate myself and refine value in myself as a person, as a Christian. You know, I retargeted my life with God, realigned my life with God, realigned myself with the Word of God, realigned myself with the values of myself. Told myself, went into pep talking myself a lot of times, you know, and like telling myself that I was somebody of worth, I was somebody of value, that no one has the right to put their hands on me, you know. And the thing about it is that I did not care. When I snapped that night, I didn't care if she was a woman. I did not care if she was weak. Right? I did not care. Because no one, I'm telling you this, people, I don't care who you are. Whether you are a male or female, I don't care if there are guys out there saying that no matter what she does, you don't have the right to lay your hands on her. Well, tell her not to put her hands on anybody, because she doesn't know how she makes people feel when she puts her hands on them. You don't know how fragile the male feelings are. You don't know how the male psyche is. You don't know how fragile that is either. Right? So it doesn't give anyone the right. No one has the right. We keep thinking that it's a rite of passage for women to be abusive, and it isn't. Women need to act like decent human beings. If we're asking this of men, we need to ask this of women. We're talking about chivalry is dead. No. Chivalry is dead, isn't dead. It is earned. Respect is earned. You understand? Just like respect, chivalry needs to be earned. When you don't act like a woman, then you don't deserve to be treated like one. If you act like a fighter, if you act like somebody is coming to who's an enemy of somebody, well, that's how you need to be treated. You don't get to be treated like a woman when you act like a bitch. You understand what I'm saying? When you act like somebody who is vile and filled with venom and poison and anger, you don't get to be treated as if you're somebody that's decent, as if you're somebody that needs to be treated right. You're not. You need to reap what you sow. And so, you know, being in that relationship and being treated wrongly, I don't know how many men feel this way, but you know, coming out of it, I felt a whole lot better. I felt a lot better when she left. You know, I was sad for a while, but after a couple of weeks, I was good. I was like, yo, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad I don't have to deal with the abuse. I'm glad I don't have to deal with her slutty behavior. I'm glad I don't have to deal, like, I was glad that she left. Like, after a couple of weeks of, like, you know, going through the emotions, going through the sadness. You know, I wasn't depressed, but I was sad. You understand? I guess it was because I was missing on the sex. I was missing the sex. But after a while, I just said that it wasn't worth it. And I'm glad that she left. You know? I'm glad that she left. It was like I dodged a bullet on that. Can you imagine if the relationship went on any longer? But not to steer away from the topic, you know, the topic is that basically her abusing me and how I felt. And how I felt was, like I said, I felt less than human. Everything I did, I second guessed it. I didn't do anything with confidence after that. I didn't like make decisions with confidence. I didn't work with confidence. And because of that, I actually took a break off of work because my work started to mess up. And it wasn't from her leaving. It was from me, you know, feeling less than human because somebody put their hands on me. Because somebody made me feel that I wasn't worth not hitting. And this is the same. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how many people go through life and get abused, but I just know what I felt. I didn't feel like I was human. I didn't feel like I was a person. I didn't feel like I was of worth or of value. And for a split moment, for split moments in time, I understood what maybe some other people who were abused felt. You know, and this is why I'm like, you know, whenever people tell me that abused people should leave, I agree that they should leave the people that abuse them. But I also, you know, try to educate people and say what could be going through the mind of the one who is abused. You understand? When people break you down and then they lie to you and tell you that I'm all you have, so nobody else is gonna love you, you're gonna believe that because they themselves have showed you what other people are capable of doing to you. And then you're gonna go through the mindset of thinking that maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe there are worse people out there that will abuse me and probably kill me. But the reason why I snapped that night is because, like, I felt like she was gonna damage me, like really injure and damage my body, whereas I would not be able to go out and date other women if she left, because I was already getting the signs that she was leaving, and I was also preparing myself for her to be leaving me. So I was, you know, in a way, when you realize people are leaving and you're cool about them leaving you, you know what I mean? I was basically preparing for her to leave the relationship and not, like, you know, deal with her ever again. And I was like, yo, you know, whatever it is, you know, if we continue, we'll continue. If we don't continue, then sayonara, good luck to you. I hope you find what you're looking for. I hope you have a wonderful life, you know. And that's generally who I have been since the age of 17. You understand? Like, whenever women are leaving, I basically, okay, all right, you want to leave? There's nothing I can do to make you stay. All right, cool. You know, I hope you find what you're looking for. I hope, you know, your journey leads you to great places. I hope you're happy, stuff like that. I don't mean it. I don't really. It's just like it's become so common for me to say that. It's not like I'm saying it with, like, it's just like a parting message for me. So anyway, my thing is that night when I snapped, I was just tired of being treated in an inhumane manner. I was tired of being treated as if I was not somebody of worth and of value, and then you turn around and you're punching me. You're physically balling up your fist and hitting me in the face. And I looked at it and I was like, yo, that's not right. Regardless of if I am a man or if I am a woman, no one should have that right to feel as if they can physically do me harm and then I should just sit down or I should walk away from it. We shouldn't have to have those types of situations. The things that people always say that, you know, you should just learn to walk away. Well, you wouldn't have to learn to walk away if some people would just keep their hands to themselves. You wouldn't have to learn to walk away if a lot of women would learn to keep their hands to themselves. And that's just the truth of the situation. She should have learned that she shouldn't be hitting me. And I don't care if I get banned off YouTube or if people unsubscribe. This is my story. This is how this made me. This made me feel less than a human being until I had to fight back for my life. And that's happening to a lot of men in our society today, and we're ignoring it. Why do you think male suicide is always at an all-time high? The only time we're going to start paying attention is when women start to kill themselves. Why? That means that we're telling men that you're not important. That your life is not important. And you know what's going to happen? MGTOW is gonna keep growing, and it should grow. It should grow. Like, more men should MGTOW to teach society that you need to stop doing this to men. And then when more men start walking away and we don't have any men to build, invent, keep the light running, keep the water running, keep all the piping going in the houses and stuff like that, and when we don't have men like that anymore and society starts to crumble, then and only then will a lot of men who are simps and cocks and a lot of women who stood by and encouraged this bad behavior in other women, then and only then will they realize the foolishness of their actions and the foolishness of the actions of other women, because they're not recognizing it now. They're not recognizing it now. It's still being encouraged that women should hit men if they feel like it. It's still being encouraged that a woman should injure a man and a man should walk away and not defend himself. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that any woman should raise her hand to me in the effort to injure me and I should just walk away. No, I'm gonna break that hand. Whichever hand you're using to stick out my eye, I'm gonna break that hand. Anyway, people, peace, love, and respect. But I'm just talking the truth. Alright? If you don't like it, unsubscribe. I don't care. Enough love. Laters.